Got ourselves team 1 together with Arthas, the boy. This looks like a weird kind of version of Arthas, though. The Ashbringers, Athos didn't even have an Ashbringer. You know, like parallel universe Arthas. We got ourselves Kerrigan with Yandex, who has a Frost DK, Lex as a Fire Mage, and Poet? Laureate? Poet. We're gonna call him Poet, dude. Is a Poet? He didn't even know it. Christina gonna be first up versus Poet. Barskin coming up. Thorn's gonna cleanse off, and that's gonna be lots of damage by the Demon Hunter. Out of all the classes, we did not expect a Demon Hunter to be going in headstrong like this. But he's gonna be giving Christina a bit of a run for the money, trying to deny the opener for the Feral. Big bites coming out with a Kirin setup for Christina. It looks like big setup coming out for, oh no, the Poet getting bitten off. His legs getting bitten off, and the man falls over. Couldn't stand on his own feet, dude. He was ready for the hunt, and then a cat just bit him in the leg. Somebody get him out of there, man. He needs a new leg. Oh, Poet needs a new leg. Yandex gonna be up next as a Frost Death Knight, big pillar Frostblade coming out, gripping in an extra. Hellforsen just getting yoinked in. Not much you can really do about it. The hand knows what it wants. It wants Hellforsen in there as well. But Hellforsen understands what's going on. He's not attacking Yandex. That is super unfortunate that happened. That barely happens in these duels, by the way. But when it does happen, it's like, oh no. I hope they understand he didn't mean to do that. It's so funny though. Christina living it up versus the Frost DK for now. They're unable to get himself a reopener for a proper stun rake setup with a big old bleed. But it's still going to keep playing into it. Playing the game. Yandex with a Lichborn going for a bit of a self-heal. Christina got himself Tiger's Fury and potentially Barskin. And that's going to be a stun onto the kitty cat. But Yandex does not have the cooldowns just yet. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer. That stun was more of a defensive stun. Just trying to peel the Feral off of him. Skull Bash by Christina just tried to stay in the melee range of Yandex. But Christina looks like they stabilized completely. Yandex is going to have to go for the Flash Cuff. No interrupt available for Christina. So that was 20% DR with the shield that Yandex got, which is a substantial shield. When you're out of healing, does hold on to a death pack, so he still has that in case things really go bad. And Christina still finally able to bust through the Fleshcraft shield. Gonna be the death pack coming out for Yandex. Does have Pillar of Frost, but does he have the damage to follow? That is also going to be Thorns. Does not have the AMS for the Thorns. It looks like Christina is going to use the bites of the Thorns just to whittle down Yandex over a bit of time. Lex up next, just charging at Christina. That is going to be an Ursul's Vortex. Stopping him in place. Christina does go for higher elevation. What is that leap? You got yourself real air time there. What is that leap? Actually, what was that? That was so... Why'd you get so much air time? Christina trying to get frozen. Does go for the interrupter on Lex. It looks like they might have been frozen once already. Is that what happens? No, G-Pie is going to come out for Lex, does reposition to a better spot, big combustion coming out, Christina taking lots of damage. That's going to be a big Pyroblast back to back, does have a massive heal. That is an emergency heal for sure, probably one for friends of regen themselves as well on top of it. And the one thing that I didn't know that happened, by the way, guys, and you might have noticed it yourselves, when you're playing a Fire Mage and you're dropping down Meteor, it no longer snapshots where the target was when the Meteor happens. So like normally drop down Meteor, it has a marker on the ground, and then sometimes we've seen people walk away from the Meteor still getting hit by the Meteor damage. So apparently Sivar told me it's a snapshot thing. So it's kind of like snapshot bleeds, but it's a snapshot Meteor, like the Meteor marks, okay, what's in the Meteor for a short moment once it drops, once it marks on the ground. And if somebody was in there for the few seconds that the mark was there, even if the walk out of the Meteor actually landing on the ground, they still would take damage, which was helpful for people with bad latency. But for Fire Mages right now, it just kind of came out of nowhere. I don't even remember there was a blue post about it either. So if you're seeing a Fire Mage dropping down a Meteor, and if you actually walk out of it right now, even a pixel out, now you can actually dodge a Meteor. So for Christina, that was a pretty good setup there. I think he still took damage from Meteor, but he definitely can outrun him now. Lex taking lots of damage from those bleeds. There goes the Cauterize, as the triple shield should keep him afloat for a moment longer. Big fireballs running out onto Christina, as it looks like the cat is probably going to catch himself a reset, as long as the Fire Mage Mastery doesn't keep burning him up. Got 3 people Horde? Boys, I'm glad to hear we have more Hordes. We're probably going to have a longer stream today, honestly. There were so many groups last week. We're probably going to do a longer stream for EU today. I'm not against it. Big G-Pie getting lined up for Christina. They're going to take quite a bit of damage though. Oh, big damage. Meteor does walk out of the Meteor, which we just talked about. So he can't dodge the Meteor. So now for Fire Mage, it's going to be a little bit harder to line up Meteors. Which apparently Mages are not going Kindling, which is pure PvE build, dude. More combust, more damage that way. Lex still under quite a bit of pressure from the Pharaoh. Both of them are at about half his health. Lex does still have shields to work for him, and I'm apparently about to say something in the chat. I guess if I hit enter button, I could open up the chat. That is so weird. All the time available for Lex should be able to survive the damage from Christina, and is going to have himself the reposition to be kind of, sort of, almost on a bridge. But he's still kind of behind the Feral Druid. The cat is just so much pressure, so much self-survivability too. Big bites back to back, and Lex trying to go for another Ring of Frost. Does he land it? He does land it. Trying to make a Ring of Power work. G-Pie is going to get interrupted. Does have Ice Buck if things go bad. Could go for an Ice Buck if things really are dire. They're going to say Ice Buck, getting himself quite a bit of recovery on that health. Running the 2 endurance conduits for it. Christina's a blast to watch. I'm glad you guys like it. Christina doesn't play too cheesy from Pharaohs. I've seen some Pharaohs play super cheesy. It is a Druid, right? Some people really don't like Druids. Just because the amount of self-healing they got. I mean, a hybrid class is a hybrid class, am I right? Big Ursos onto Lex, denying him the re-stealth. Lex does have combustion very soon. All the time might be a perfect opportunity. Lots of health recovery. Christina still got that big Kyrian bites. It's just shredding through Lex. Does he have any shields? He needs shields now. The pod comes out. I think Christina is going to have no trouble dealing with the pod. Man, Christina went from a Night Fae into the Kyrian. The Kyrian where you actually have to use the rotation instead of Night Fae kind of, you know, convoke playing the game for you for a short opportunity. Which isn't super difficult to play if you know how to play Feral, but Convoke is just that strong, man. I mean, it could just be back-to-back bites. There's nothing you could do. Christina trying to hang out in stealth while Kerrigan is up next. Oh, a Worgen. He's also Fury Warrior. I do wonder what Covenant he's playing. Most likely Venthyr. Most Warriors of Venthyr. Is going to try to be a little bit careful with those thorns. Should really be watching out for his own health. Bash comes out, Trinkets out of a big enraged regeneration coming out, and that's a rude by Christina. Basting out of that one with a Blaze Storm. Is he going to be able to maybe get a charge over Christina? Does he Christina out in the open? Will not be able to catch a re-stealth. The Pharaoh will not be able to catch a re-stealth. Kerrigan taking still quite a bit of that bleed. Man, those bleeds are just trucking the boy. He does have that reach. Can kind of hit him through the wall a little bit. Which I wonder if Blizzard will fix it. Big condemns coming out back to back. Kerrigan does go for a massive commanding shout. Is going to go for them big executes back to back, which does do damage to Christina, but also puts damage reduction to Kerrigan. The more that he can stack up those condemns, the less damage Christina is going to do to Kerrigan when he's trying to turn the damage around. So it has an offensive benefit. Of course, more on the offensive side, but still something for defensive. Big charge onto Christina, trying to go for big rage and blows to give himself that extra health. The condemns are going through back to back. Christina trying to make some damage happen. Kerrigan looks like gonna be going down with thorns. It's almost a guarantee. And it's gonna be Arthur's last one left on team 1. As team 2 barely saw a lot of play. It looks like Christina might just have to go again. If we don't have a whole nother team, we might just have to throw Christina back into the mix of things. Arthur's hanging out next to the eye, picking up the eye, and that's going to be Christina again in that opener on him. Bit of damage, bit of damage. Arthas is a paladin, however, is going to go for a hot Christina, trinket it out of it as they got the Kyrian setup. Does interrupt the Arthas on it. Holy, could be big damage. Is going to be able to get a bubble off. If you're able to interrupt the paladin on Holy and then finish him off right after, no bubbles available for the Pala. Arthas doing a little bit of a weird movement thing over there. A little bit of a backpedal there, man. That's going to be Christina bailing out of there as soon as he sees the Paladin full of cooldown. Seraphim wings available. Actually bleeding out quite profusely. And was that a Guardians for a second? There's no way that was Guardians for a second. There was no way he got low enough where he had Guardians proc there. There's no way, right? Tell me that wasn't. Gonna be a big old bite of up for Christina. Hodge by Arthas is gonna go for a flash of light. No way for Christina to get out of the CC anymore. No more wall either. Might be able to have a bar skill for the next big go by Arthas. Thorns available for Christina for now. Wings available for Arthas. Lots of healing is going to be out for the Paladin. While wings are up, they're basically unstoppable. And massive amounts of healing, massive amounts of damage. And also like 20% more crit, 20% more damage, 20% more healing, 20% more critical strike chance. So a chance to crit, chance to damage, which puts up close to that 50, dude. 1 in 2 chance to crit. Big damage by Christina. I don't know where Arthur's having to pop every kind of healing he can. Word of Glory spam. All that holy power goes in either from offensive into a defensive play. Just having to spend all that holy power. And actually, looks like he's kind of down on the mana at this point. Christina might be able to really set something up. Big bubble available for Arthas. Christina is going to bail out of there for the time being. Arthur's trying to get aggressive with Christina, trying to utilize the bubble immunity in order to get some sort of kind of a setup. But I think Christina is going to have him most likely. We are at the 10-minute mark, 32% dampener. We'll see how plenty of boys over on the other team are ready to go, are ready to play. Christina's looking for a bit of a reset. Big old charge towards Arthas. Does have Seraphim. Final verdict. Big holy damage available for the Paladin. Christina does pop in a bear form with Frenzy Regeneration. If he plays it super carefully, that's no longer a bubble available for Arthas. Only a Blessing of Protection Trinket available. Wigs coming up very, very soon. If Christina plays this very, very carefully, he could be able to down the Paladin. You also got to be looking out for those skull bashes. If you can get Arthas low enough, big old skull bash. Bob coming out for Arthas, and that's going to be Christina hitting him with a root immediately. But Christina did also have the Kyrian Burst available too. That is going to be a minute long cooldown, so he's not going to be able to come back for the big damies until a little bit later. Into a full stun to Christina. Does have a trinket. That is going to be a bark skin. Even though bark skin, he's just taking so much damage through bark. Paladin damage is astronomical right now, dude. It's actually just absurd amount of damage. And the healing to get too. Oh my god. Looks like he's going to have a Guardian Legendary available sometime soon. Christina does land an interrupt onto Arthas, surprising the Paladin from the shadows into a wall available for Christina. Just trying to deal with the wings damage. Just wants to stay in. He needs the sustained pressure to deal with Arthas. But he needs to just stay in. And the only way he does it is to pop in defensive and keep trucking. Shield of it is popping back to Christina. He's just blowing everything at Arthas, trying to end this duel against the Paladin. Guardian Legendary is available. Does get Word of Glories. And trying to turn some offensive damage around back to Christina. Kyrian Feral does snipe down the Paladin though. Even as Braun came in with a little bit of assistance. And I think it was a Christina 1v5. Off the bat of the day, boys. Let's go. Christina's killed. I gotta, yeah, dude. You guys don't even know this, but I've been doing these duels for a while. And Christina started out, when he started out on duels,